my issue when we did the last podcast was that I felt like because he's the kind of character that needs to control things and to keep himself at a certain level so that people don't see his true colors, that doesn't give him much room to play as an actor. It's a lot of just like containing things.
Right.
And because we're never alone with him to see the moments where he's not containing things, we just don't get a good sense of really what's going on with him. And it makes him less interesting to watch. And I do think that at the end of the the end of the season, we did get a little bit of a glimpse into him.
I was going to say, yeah, there was a moment that I kind of wondered if he knew about from the start with Ray being molested.
Well, but that's what I was going to say. Like, when we were, after he shot the priest and we were able to be alone with him for a brief second in his house, that was a moment that I thought would have been better served had we seen it episodes earlier.
Yeah.
Because I thought by the time he shot the priest, the audience should have already gotten that. They should have already figured out, oh, he was also a victim and he's keeping it from everybody. And his reaction to the priest was not, oh, I'm confronting my demon. It's, oh, I don't want them to find out, so I'm shutting you up before you say something.
Right.
And that to me also, there's no growth. Like, it's a character that's just at this one level the entire time. And if you're, what is it going to take? Like, something big has to happen that either he can't control or, I don't know, something has to shake him.
Right.
And so far nothing has shaken him, and I don't know what they're waiting for. I don't know if anything ever will, and I just feel like that's kind of, as much as it's a waste of some of these other actors to put them in these storylines that don't give them anything to do, I also feel it's a waste of him to just give him one note to play the entire time. I don't feel like he's had to do as much as a lot of the other actors.
Right. I mean, it's a fascinating thing where, when I was watching that scene, I kind of wondered if Liev had known all along that happened. So I felt that Liev had known all along that was the case. Because
that's a good point. I don't know.
Because I honestly don't know. It's not something that I've asked, something I've sought out. I don't think he's done interviews since the premiere.
No, but even still,
I'm very curious because, and quite frankly, that's something an actor should know. Because if you're dealing with this issue with the pilot, with your brother's issue, and it is his brother's issue, but it's like, you would think that at some point, especially when he came back into the picture.
But I also think it's the way it's directed. Because even if you know as an actor, you can be directed to and be told, don't play it at all. You know what I mean? Like, hide it from yourself.
Of course.
Because the audience should never know.
And that's totally, completely possible. I'm just very curious if, I'd wonder, like, as I was watching that, I was like, I wonder when he found out. Because if he found out when he read that script, if I was, might be pissed. Because you should at least have the option of knowing it. Even if you're told not to play it, you should at least have that knowledge.
Yeah,
I agree.
That's
vital.
I agree. And that's the thing, like, what we got after that, I thought was really interesting and dynamic, and the whole confrontation with him and Nikki, where he said, you know, you've been dead since I was 10. Like, that to me, that needed to happen earlier, because it sets up so many interesting things that can happen in season 2, but I don't understand why you're waiting to play that hand for so long when you've given us so much repetition in season 1.
Right, I mean, and honestly, that's kind of my thing, where I didn't for a second think they'd kill off John Boyd, but I also felt like in some ways the show would be better served if they did. Because I feel
which they might for season 2. We'll see.
They might. I mean, I feel
because then it becomes of who kills him. Because if Ray can't do it himself, what does that do to him?
No, but it also, as much as he's right to, there's still a large part of him that's been blaming his father for so many of his issues, and if he has to take accountability for his own life, what does that make him do? And so I'd be curious to see something like that. And it's not that John Boyd isn't enjoyable to watch. It's just I don't know how far this show can grow if it stays like this. Like I've got honestly, like I finished watching season 1. I'm like, I have no idea what season 2's gonna be like.
Well, I also
don't even mean that in a good
because
way.
of the last scene, I think was a really just not the right note to end that season on. Like, first of all, I think the family members, the 4 of them, need to be split up. No matter, I don't care if someone dies, I don't care if they just get divorced, I don't care what it is, they are a problem together. Like,
Oh, absolutely.
No one is used properly, and I feel like they're a second-rate Sopranos. If you look at Paula's character, she's basically a less interesting version of Carmela Soprano because she hasn't known this whole time. What made Carmela so interesting was she knew what Tony was and just chose to look the other way at certain points and chose to confront him at certain points, and so she battled with the morality. And we only got that from Paula when she saw the priest. It took, again, how many episodes before we really saw, okay, what is this woman made of? And so I just feel like if you split them up and you let them go on their own, like maybe some of them we don't need to see anymore. But some of them could be really interesting if they're not playing this like fake all-American family thing that they're trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I can't really comment on Sopranos comments.
No, it was just something that struck me. I don't know if it's even a common.
It might be. I honestly don't know. It's something where I was watching, because I watched it in it's called a binge these days. The kids are calling it these days. And I was very much just thrown by, I'm trying to figure out how to say this in a nice way, or
Why?
a respectful way. How just absolutely, it just felt like toxic this character is.